Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today on Africa Fire Mission. My name is Nancy Moore. I'm the Director of Programs for Africa Fire Mission, and we're pleased to host you today for training on ladders and inspection of ladders and training with ladders today with Bramwel. So I'll let him introduce himself, but you are always encouraged to share what you've learned. If you missed this training or know a colleague that would benefit from this training, I want to encourage you to have them go to our YouTube channel later and they can watch the training on replay. Nearly every week, we are recording and posting those trainings to YouTube. And since this is a 1-hour training, we will start with the training, and then at the end we'll have an opportunity for question and answer, as well as throughout and some tea time together where we can just be more informal and connect with each other. So pleased to have you all here today. Jose is going to get us started with some words of encouragement. And please, as we get started, we'd love to know who's here. Just introduce yourself in the chat if you would. And if you have others with you, please let us know who else is with you today as well. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. I truly appreciate. Welcome so much, Bramwel. You'll get to introduce yourself in a bit. And today I'm so happy to have everyone around. And in a short while, we shall also be having someone all the way from Germany join us, who's also one of us. Yes, so without further ado, we're going to jump into day 28. Can you believe it? It's day number 28, ever since this year started, yeah? And how God has been faithful to us. He's given us good health. He's protected us from COVID-19. He's made us respond to RTAs and structural fires with ease. And I've been seeing your updates and I'm like, wow, how God has been faithful. So today, I'm going to read day number 88, written by Wayne Detzler. He's an international board member of FCF International, Fellowship of Christian Firefighters. So the topic of that book, chapter I'm going to read is called Glory. And I read. So Psalms chapter 29, verse 2, it says, "Worship the Lord in splendor of his holiness." This psalm combines the glory of God's creation with the glory of worship. It reaches its peak in the phrase, "In his temple everyone shouts glory." Yesterday, I drove past the construction site of our dear Black Rock Church. The shape of a large worship center is emerging, sculptured in steel. Arches of the old church stand as a welcome corridor leading to the vast new church. In the corner is a small room that will be our prayer room. We are so blessed to be part of the prayer ministry as we look forward to the day when everyone will shout, "Glory." We will worship God in the splendor of his great holiness in new worship center. So that reading just talks to us about how it is, even as we continue working and continue serving God's people. Do we remember God? Do we know that even after when we finish this race, we shall be going somewhere? So this somewhere that you're going, is it going to be somewhere that you'd want never to return, or you'll be begging that you return back to earth that you can make yourself good? So even as you continue serving people in this very, very, I usually say it's dangerous, but because we've been trained by great trainers like Bramwel, we find a lot of courage in this, yeah? But even as Bramwel has trained us in becoming good firefighters, do you know that even after we finish this race, we are going to go in a better place? Or is it better for you? Yeah. So I just encourage you to be faithful in following God, in praying. Don't forget God at this particular time, in prayer, in supplication, in repentance, and just living well with your brothers and sisters. Thank you for your time. And right now, I'm going to jump over and invite today's trainer, but I will give him the honors to introduce himself. I honor him as my trainer. He's been patient with me when I was a student. And today he's given us the honors to come here and conduct the class. Welcome, sir. The floor is yours. You can introduce yourself, and later on, you can take us through the class, sir. Karibu sana.
Hello, team. Thank you. Welcome to the class today. Today I'm Instructor Bramwel Kiliru, an EMT, a firefighter. I'll be with you, carrying you today slides with your topic of ladders. Whereby I will learn from you too, because we are here for learning. Then in training, we always achieve many things by training daily. So with that, welcome to the session of today, whereby hosted by our Honorable Jose. I always salute you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you team, all welcome to the class session. Okay, Jose, kindly, let's start by introduction. So in today's training, we'll be having some objective of today, whereby we'll be checking the list, the parts of ladder. You need to understand how ladder looks like so that you can know where are the parts to do the inspection and maintenance. Then on how to wash it, the different types of ladders. Remember, in ladders, since the early ages, ladders were made from woods, and nowadays we have transformed to aluminum type. So for now, we'll see how they differ and types. Then we'll have to describe how to clean. After every call that we always come from, after responding, when you have responded back to your base, you're supposed always to clean your tools and equipment after each use. So we'll see how you are supposed to clean, inspect, store the ladder, and how to store the ladders. Then describe when, where, and who to perform the service testing on our ladders. Remember, in that case, in describing and when and where, a firefighter is the responsibility of a firefighter to wash, to inspect, and to store the ladder. So you have to take care of your tools and equipment because you're the one who is using when you are responding. And most cases in inspection always occur during the morning when you do the checklist. Then we'll specify the hazards with ladders. And in ladders, sometimes you have the hazards which we are exposed. That's you as a firefighter, you're supposed to be wearing the full PPE to avoid the injuring or having any fatalities when you're using the ladders. Then in ladders, we are supposed to follow command and discipline, and teamwork is one of the key roles to avoid this hazard being exposed to. Okay, thank you, Jose. And in introduction, in this case, we'll be told that the fire service ladders is one of the most basic firefighters tools that we always use. And remember, in this tool, you cannot use it without wearing proper PPEs, where you can see at the background of the photos, we have our own firefighters wearing full PPE, starting from the helmets, gloves, they have breathing apparatus, and they have every kind of standard that they're supposed to be following, the NFPA standard, maintaining our own, following the standard that we are trained with our NFPA standard regulations and the standard operating procedures that you're supposed to follow even in our workplace. Then in this case, we are being told ladders technology has not changed much over the years. Remember, ladders were made from woods. Nowadays, you are transforming from woods, changing from woods. They always burn when exposed to heat or high temperature. So for now, when we transform from using the ladders type of wood to an aluminum type, then for most cases, most ladders which were made from wood were having difficulty in carrying them. mobility was impaired. So in this case, at least aluminium changed it. Then in this case, you are being told every firefighter must be proficient in working with ladders. Remember, in ladders, we have different companies. We have in LFPF standard, we have company number one, we have engine company, which they deal with suppression and supply of hoses. We have truck company who always deal with ladders and rescuing of victims. And we have crash company who always deal with all aeronautical fires teams, any fire regarding all about aeronautical fires or any plane fires. Then we have brush company, which they always suppress fire in the bush. So in those cases, everyone needs to supposed to know and understand the tools and equipment to use in each and every workplace. Okay, thank you, Jose. Then the primary function of a ladder, you need to understand the primary function of the ladder. The initial, in this case, you're being told provides a vertical pathway between grades. In this case, you're being told a ladder, you use it to climb it vertically, most cases to at least to maneuver and work easily on a height. And remember, when you're working in a height, you're supposed to be measuring things to do with 70 degrees working angle. Then you're supposed to be knowing how to not to double rung when you're climbing up the ladder. Usage of, you're supposed to understand when you have deployed the ladder or you have set the ladder to have a team of 2 people, or one. When you're working as a one person, you need to add another person to help you stabilize in position. Then in this case, you're being told you need to provide an escape path and a means to evacuate people. In this case, ladder has always been used for rescuing victims from a burning room or a burning building. So in this case, when you're using a ladder, specific when you're rescuing a victim from a window, you need to supposed to understand where you're supposed to place it underneath the window shield, so that you help the victim in rescuing the victim. Then you are being told can be used as a working platform. People, when the truck company, they are doing ventilation, they need supposed stabilizing platform to work on. And in this case, when you're working on a platform of a ladder, you need to be very cautious and understand the safety precaution of a ladder. Like leg locks, you're supposed to be very familiar with the leg locks, heeling the ladder or footing the ladder. So those are the key things when you're working with the ladder, you need to understand. But the most important thing, when you're using this ladder, you need to understand, have you inspected it using your bare eyes? Then have you checked maintenance by oiling, so that you can know if it is ready for deployment or usage. Then can bridge a small opening. In this case, you can use this ladder to do like something ventilation by using a ladder after deploying it, after extending the fly section, so that you can use to break and at least to ventilate a room still. Okay, thank you. Next, Jose. Then the secondary function of a ladder, you need to understand it provides stable footing and distribution weight on pitched roof. In this case, when you are doing ventilation or vertical ventilation, understand the types of roofs. And in types of roof, you always have a pitched roof, which always looks like something curved, a sharp edge. Then we have a flatted roof. Then we have curved. Then we have a bowstring roof, whereby you have, it always looks like a carving. So in those cases, after knowing the types of roofs that you are working on, you need to understand how will I be distributing this weight. Remember, weight in a building, it matters a lot. So a lot. In this case, building and construction of a certain building. In this case, you are being told creates a ladder. A ladder creates a ladder structure to raise or lower or objects. So you can use even a ladder as you can improvise if you don't have something to rescue a victim, like a stretcher, a basket stretcher for rescuing victim from a high-rise building. So you need to see by using a ladder. But in using ladder, you need to be very good in ropes and knots, knowing the different types of knots that you're supposed to use in doing when you want to tie a victim on a ladder. Then you need to use something like you improvise using a to make a patient to be comfortable. Then you are being told provide a platform for equipment. When you are working the equipment on a roof, you can apply on top of the ladder at least to act like a platform to stabilize precaution. Then when you're using equipment on a ladder, you need to secure it with a safety harness or a belt, so that it can enable you and protect you at least for not having slips or accidents like that. The other thing you are being told creates a ramp for equipments or patients. So that ramp is another name for a ramp. You can use it as a stretcher, like whereby, or a spine board, whereby you need to rescue a victim in a flat position, or you have a victim who is suspected having a spinal injury. So you need to apply at least padding, at least use it as a platform for rescuing a victim. Then that creates a water chute. In this water chute is being helped, it always helps salvage and overhaul team doing salvage. They will be enabled to withdraw water from a building. Then it can use to make a water catch-all. A catch-all is where a portable tank. You can use the triple extension ladder to make a water catch-all. At least when you're having difficulty in water, or you're having a insufficient supply of water supply to your engine, you can use that water chute, water catch-all, to help you in storing water for washing tools and equipment. Thank you. Next. Then in ladder construction, in fire service, are being told in fire service ladders are similar to other types of ladder. So most cases, the ladder that we always use is in fire service. We always use them even in other usage, like in our homes, using when you want to, at least to make up, making or cutting your face bands, at least to raise you a little bit. A ladder like combined ladder, it's always being used by people back at home. So in this case, you're being told, but or specialized tools, not general purpose ladders. In this case, you are not supposed to use a general purpose ladders in fire service without doing something like inspection and maintaining them, and cleanliness is one of the key things in making our tools and equipment to be for efficient and effective, giving us service, a long-term service in our service fire service platform. In heavy duty construction, in heavy duty construction, it's because it is the ladder always maintains, or it always the platform for weighing, the weight that we always apply to the ladder is too much. So you understand, you need to, the material being used for a ladder is heavier, or is the quality is supposed to be very strong, to avoid cracks, things to do like falling, or you start seeing a ladder start peel off or cracking, or sometimes you can see a breakage or a deformity of a ladder. To avoid those cases, you need to understand the type of a ladder that you're using, the type of construction material has been used. Then the other thing is require more frequent and thorough maintenance. After each use, you're supposed to do what? Washing the ladder, then cleaning it, and then you wipe it to avoid things to do like rusting. Then the areas that are supposed to be oiled or to be greased, they're supposed to be greased without delay. And then you're supposed to clean for any debris or any dust that will be portraying in the ladders. Next. Then we have the basic ladder components. You need to understand the parts of a ladder. As you can see in the pictorial parts, we have one is the beams, we have the rail, we have the truss, which is the truss block, then we have rung, then we have tie rods, then we have tips, we have butts, then we have roof hooks, then we have heat sensors, labels, then we have protection plates. So in this case, the parts, as you can see, we have the butt, where it has been shown in the picture. The butt is the behind, or the bottom of the ladder. The tip is the top of the ladder. As you can see, we have rungs, so they are the center. Beams are you can see the steels, which are the side of the ladder. Then you can see the rails, the way they are the rails, the way they look. Then you have the truss blocks. The other thing we have, the type of a ladder which is portrayed is a hook ladder, because you can see it has a specific automatic or type like hook, like looking at the tip of the ladder, you can see them. They are the one which are being used by the truck company when they want to do what? Deploy the roof ladder on top of a ladder in a pitched roof specific. Next, Jose. Then so the beams run the length of the most ladders. So as you can see the beams, the way they look, you have different types of beam. We can see you have 3 types of beams construction. One is trussed beam, the I-beam, and the solid beam. So first one is the trussed beam. As you can see the way it looks, how it looks, the trusses, having some trusses. Then the second can be the I-beam. Then you have the solid beam is completely, which doesn't have spacing between. So we have the specific one. One is the trusted, the I-beam. Then we have the solid beam, which is not portrayed there, the picture. We'll see it in the next slide, Jose. Then we have the rails and truss blocks. In rails and truss, top or bottom section of a trusted beam. In this case, we may also refer to top and bottom surface of an I-beam. Specific, you as a firefighter or any firefighter is supposed to understand how to, when mounting and dismounting ladder from engine, you need to know where is the tip, where is the, and the tip specific when you are, the tip is always the furthest end. When you are coming, when you are dismounting the ladder from the engine, the first thing that always comes first is the butt. Then when you are mounting it back to the engine, the tip is always the first. So in this case, you need to understand when you are moving with the ladder, you need to know that when this is the tip or the butt, you're supposed to apply one hand specific at the butt to avoid the slipping of the ladder. Then you have truss blocks. In truss blocks, you're being told is piece that connects the 2 rails of a strutted beam. So this piece that connects the 2 rails we have seen in the picture. So it's whereby we always, sometimes you can use the technique of holding those trusses to know when you are checking, when you're inspecting, you need to understand, are the trusted damage? That's why the reason why you are being always advised as a firefighter or in fire department, never paint a ladder because of what? To see tracks that can lead to an accident. And in this case, you're always advised to inspecting the ladder using your bare eyes before using it and even after use. Okay, next. Then we have the rung and the tie rod. The rung, we're being told, rung is a cross piece that spans the 2 beams of the ladder, of a ladder. In this case, the rungs are the ones that we always hold when you are climbing up and when you step. Those are the rungs. And in this case, as a firefighter, in training, you are always being trained not to double rung because it will make you to be confused in which step you are doing, you are supposed to step. Then when you are climbing, stepping on the rungs, the firefighter who is supposed to heel the ladder for you or foot the ladder is supposed to be counting when you are coming down the ladder to tell you starting from the third rung, second rung, and the last rung. Then he tells you to step on the ground. Those are the rungs that are always help there to maneuver very easily up the ladder. And in this case, you're supposed to inspect, does your the rungs, does it have the grippings or the threads that always helps us in avoiding slipping or sliding of our boots. In this case, you are being told serve as steps and distribute users weight. So the rungs always distribute the weight of the ladder differently. That's why you always advise like a straight ladder, a single straight ladder. You're not supposed to be 2 firefighters across the ladder because the weight will be too much. So in this case, you're supposed in a single straight ladder, 1 firefighter. If it is a double extension, 2 firefighter. Each section is supposed to be having 1 firefighter. Then we have the tie rod. A tie rod is a metal bar that runs from one beam of the ladder to the other to keep the beams from separating. So the rods are the ones which always conjoin the 2 different beams to make them, at least to have those to hold the beam. We are being told the metal bar that runs from one beam, then of the ladder of the other, to keep the beams from separating. So they hold the beams together. We have the first beam, the second beam. So they hold the beams together where the rungs always connect it. We have the next slide. We have the tip and butt spurs. Then the tip, we are being told, is very top of the ladder. Is the very top of the ladder. Then you have the butt. Butt is the ladder that is placed against the ground. The end that the butt is the end of the ladder that is placed against the ground. Then butt spurs is metal spikes attached to the butt of a ladder. In this case, you are being told the tip is whereby it always deploy above towards the building, the tip. But the butt is the one that is always towards the ground. Then we have the butt spurs with the spikes that always stabilize the ladder not to slip or slide. In this case, as a firefighter, you need to understand when you're checking, you need to inspect it to see if it has the rubber band, so that the rubber band always helps in maintaining the grip of the wall. Then you have the butt, supposed to be even have the rubber band to avoid the slipping of the ladder, or it can be included with or added with but to stabilize more completely, to avoid the slide in case you have a slippery ground. So those spurs will help the butt not to be not to have any possible sliding effect. Okay, next. Then we have a butt plate or foot pad. In the butt plate, you are being told you have the butt plate and the roof hooks. In butt plate, you are being told is alternative to a simple butt spur. In this case, a butt spur, you are being told, is sharp edges that always they can be sharp or rough, but they help in stabilizing of the ladder, the butt not to slip. A spur and a cleat or a pad. In this case, is a butt helps in maintaining the gripping of those hooks or the spurs. Have any, in case the sliding effect is present, they will help in avoiding it to slide. Then you have the roof hooks. A roof hooks, we are being told, is spring loaded. It is retractable, curved metal piece attached to the tip of the roof ladder. In this case, used to secure the ladder to pitched roof. In this is a type of, like, roof hooks is a type of a ladder that we always call it as a firefighters, the hook ladder. And they are being called hook ladder because of the roof hooks that are being spring loaded. They are always deployed when you want to use it to apply on top of a roof ladder or a pitched roof. This roof hook cannot be used in not a curved type roof. So you need to understand the type of a roof that you are going to use. This is supposed to be mostly a pitched roof. Okay, next. Okay, thanks. Then the heat sensor labels and protection plates. The heat sensor labels identifies when the ladder has been exposed to specific heat condition. And remember, as a firefighter, you need to understand fire behavior, how fire behaves. Remember the stages of fire. We have the ignition point, we have the growth point, fully developed, and the decay. And remember, in those stages of fire, we have different behavior of fire, how the fire behaves. Like we have the flashover, flame over, and the backdraft. So you need to understand how the fire behaves. So when you're using this ladder, you need to know that when I'm applying this ladder to this is exposed to heat, and the heat will transfer from the building to the ladder through the process you always call conduction, where you have the solid transfer of heat using the solid substance. Then in that case, you have another method that heat can transfer through radiation, convection. So those are direct contact. In this case, you are being told it changes colors when exposed to a particular temperature. So when you see the color changing, remember you have different types of manufacturer having different the way they look. Most probably they always place it like a gadget. It can change either to, in case from, it can be applied to a red substance, which you can able to see it from far, so that you can understand when it changes from this red to example like a yellow color, you know that this heat detector or the heat sensor has indicated that we have danger being portrayed to our ladder. Then the other thing is protection plates. In protection plates, you are being told reinforcing pieces placed at chafing and contact points to prevent damage. So in this case, we are being told protection reinforcing pieces placed at chafing and contact points to avoid any damages. So they always prevent creating like a housing to the ladder, at least to avoid damages or exposing the ladder to lots of damages or to be exposed to the debris. Then, as a firefighter, you need to understand when you are inspecting a ladder or maintaining it, always check these plates to check for things to do like cracks. They'll be present. In heat sensor, you need to understand, you need to check if it is stabilized or in contact with the ladder very good, in a good condition, working condition. By doing that, it will be enabling you to know that when I'm using this type of ladder, the safety precaution is assured. Okay, next. Then we have one type of ladder that will be seeing extension ladder component. In this extension ladder component, we have the bed section and the fly. In bed section is the one that always carries the total weight of the ladder. And the fly section is always the one deployed towards the tip, towards the building. In this case, you are being told you have guides, you have halyards, then you have poles, then you have pulley, then you have stops and the staples. As you can see, the fly section, the way it deploys, pulley is where you always use that halyard at least to extend the ladder. Remember, when you want to extend the ladder using the halyard and the pulley, you need to understand before the fly section goes up high in the sky, you need to check the condition of that halyard rope. Is it in good condition? Does it have any fluffy things, or has it started out? You need to understand, you check the pulley to see if it is lubricated. Does the pulley have the maneuver to rotate? At least you know that you're having the pulley which is in good condition. As the dog's in working good condition, because the dog without having good proper working dogs type device of the component of a ladder will make you, when you're deploying this fly section, it will make you to be so exposed in sliding effect, whereby you're being told the sliding effect of a ladder is very possible. Then you have the bed section and you have the butt and or heel. Next, Jose. Then you have the bed section and the fly section. We're being told bed section and serve as the base that always carries the weight. So when you as a firefighter, when you need to understand, you need to, when you're doing checklisting early in the morning, check, is my bed section in good condition? Remember, this is the one that always carries all the weight over when you're working on a ladder. Then fly section, we are being told, is part that is raised or extended from the bed section. In this case, you are being told when you're extending, you need to understand even to check for overhead hazards above when you're working in a scene. So you have, after when you have dismounted the ladder from your operator, always size up. Check the size up of the scene. After seeing the scene is safe, now you can do what? Deploy the fly section. And in this fly section, I'm being told each fly section extend from the previous section. So in this case, I will repeat, fly section part that is raised or extended from the bed section, and each section extend from the previous section. So the mother of the section. So you need to understand, you need to care for both the bed and the fly section, because we always use both. We always use them, but once you have started by when you want to deploy the fly section, you need to make sure the bed section is stabilized and the topography of land will allow you. Okay, next, Jose. Then we have guides and halyards. In guides and halyards, you're being told strips or metal or wood that guide fly section. In this case, and it's extended. Then the halyard, the vehicle is rope or cable used to extend or hoist the fly section. So in guides, those are metals or wood that guide a fly section. The guides, they always attach towards the beam, outside of the beam. So they always help the fly section to go straight on a straight manner to avoid them from slipping back towards the firefighter. A halyard rope is the one that we always use to extend the ladder, to extend that fly section. So without that halyard, a fly section cannot do what? Extend towards where? The building. Inspection, check in those guides, do they have any cracks? Are they painted? If they have paint, they're supposed to be at least removed, at least in case of damages. We'll know that this thing is exposed. Then we are supposed to understand the manufacturer guidelines that will help you to understand these things, the type of water to use, the type of soap to use in a halyard when you are washing your ladder. Okay, next. Then we have the poles and pulleys. In poles, we are being told they are mechanical locking device used to secure the fly section of an extension ladder, those poles. So in the poles, we are being told the mechanical locking device used to secure the fly section of an extension ladder. So in this case, you are not talking about a single straight ladder. In that case, you are talking about a double extension ladder, triple extension ladder, an aerial ladder, or a turntable. In those they have mechanical locking devices. So in those mechanical locking, you need to always follow the manufacturer guidelines to know on how they work and how I will care for them, or how to do the inspection and cleaning them. Then you have the pulley. Pulley, you are being told, is a small grooved wheel used to change the direction of the halyard pull. So in this case, the pulley helps in maneuvering and extending the fly section. So your pulley needs to be very in good working condition. So you need to always do the inspection still, maintenance and cleaning this. Okay, next. Then you have the stops and the staples. The stops, we are being told, there are pieces of wood or metal that prevent the fly section from overextending and collapsing. So the stops, they are always at the side of a ladder, mostly specific. You have always the bed section, the fly section. If you are using a double extension ladder, it will always section. Then if you're using a triple extension ladder, it will be both on a bed section and a second fly section. So the last fly section will be having the last indicator that you're supposed to be deploying the ladder up to which point. So in that case, we have the staples. Staples are the long metals poles attached to the top of the bed section. In this case, it helps stabilize the ladder as it is raised and lowered. In this case, the staples are always, most cases, they are being found, or you can find them in a bango ladder. A bango ladder is 13.5 meters that you can use in deploying it. So at 13.5 meters ladder, when you want it to deploy in a high-rise building, on a four-story building, you need to stabilize it using the staples. When you're working on a bango ladder, you need to be working on a crew of 4. We have the in charge, who is the number 1. We have the number 3, who is the backup of number 1. We have the number 4, who is the messenger. Then we have number 2. The number 2 is the operator. So in this case, it needs a total coordination, and you need to be very specific, located in different positions. Like when you are dismounting that ladder, you need to know the safety precaution of opening your lock at the back lock of where the pump is located, to avoid, in case of slipping, to avoid injuries to the firefighters. And in this case, you need to understand when you're dismounting it, you're dismounting when the bat is there first to be dismounted from an engine. Then the last part will be the tip. Then working in a coordination, the people who will be the number 4 and number 2, then sorry, number 4 and number 3, there will be people who will be holding them staples, whereby they will be helping the the other firefighter and stabilize it when you want to lay it on top of a building. So in positioning of a bango ladder needs more training and needs to understand how to use the staples. Next, Jose. Then we have another type is an aerial ladder. Aerial ladders, as you can or you have heard the term, aerial means something which is above or towards the sky. In this case, you are being told you have elevating platform. As you can see, we have ladder, bango ladder, combination ladder, folding ladder, and fresnel ladder. In these different types, we'll be sending the pictures to the group, at least people to be familiarized with the different types of ladders and how they are supposed to be used. Okay, next Jose. Then you have one example of an elevated platform. As you can see, the firefighter is working. Then you have a straight ladder, which is a hook ladder. Oh, sorry. You have a straight ladder having some hooks. These are single ladder, whereby it has some hooks, making it to have a hook ladder, which is a hook ladder or a roof ladder. Next, Jose. Then you have extension ladder. Example of this an extension ladder is a example. This example is a bango ladder, whereby you can see you have firefighter healing the ladder. Another firefighter is climbing towards the tip or towards the building, up the building. Then you have the poles, which are the staples, which are the sides. Then remember, when you are climbing up the ladder, you need to have someone who is below the ladder to help you in guiding, at least in stabilizing, make sure the ladder it is stable enough. Okay, next. Then you have a combination ladder. A combination ladder, you can different manufacturers, they always construct it this way, but as a firefighter, you need even to understand. You can improvise still if you don't have this a combination ladder, using a triple extension ladder, combining the two and securing it using your personal line or your personal rope. You have using different types of knots. One type of knot that you can use in stabilizing when you want to make you want to improvise a combined ladder, you can use half inch in making a half inch so that you can stabilize the ladder. Then making sure you have in those half inch you have a securing utility rope that you can help in securing the ladder to make it stable, where you will stabilize, you will make a one knot towards the one rung and the other rung that will always combine, making them to at least conjoin together. Next, Jose. Then we have a folding ladder. A folding ladder is a good type of a ladder used by people who are rescue the track team, who always rescue victim, or a confined rescue team that is always a rescue victim from a confined space, which enables a firefighter when helping a victim from Arctic positions. You'll able to maneuver by at least adjusting it. As you can see, the firefighter is on how he is placing it, and we have the handle at the side that helps the firefighter at least to extend the folding ladder. So it is specific for Arctic places ladders positioning. Okay, next. Then you have a Fresnel ladder. This is another type of confined space ladder used by confined space rescue team in helping victim when you want to maneuver towards that confined space. So you can use, if you don't have a Fresnel ladder, you can use a folding ladder. Okay, next. Then in inspection and maintenance and service testing, Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, 1931, establishes requirements for ladder construction. Remember, the standard came to at least help in the fire department to be using a good standard ladder, whereby it has transformed from wood type, at least for now we are in the aluminum type. To be very observant in the precaution being portrayed or the hazard being portrayed when you're using this type of aluminum type of ladder. Then you are being told NFPA 1932 provides general use guidance. So in this guidance, the regulations in inspection, maintenance, and testing. So remember the NFPA 1932. After they knew the good type of lab, they came up now with the guidelines to help us in maintaining our ladders. Next. In this case, we'll start by inspection. And inspection, we always deal by something called always your vision. We have different senses, but the vision of looking at it by you look, you touch it, where you will be able to know the challenges being put ladder. In this case, you are being told NFPA 32 requires ground ladders visually inspected monthly or after each use. So after every use, before and after use, you're supposed to inspect your ladder. That's the importance of doing something called checklisting. Every time you enter, or you always report to duty, or report on duty, or you are on duty, you're always supposed to do inspection. Then you are being told, what are you inspecting, or what are you looking at, or what are you inspecting to query about? In this case, you are being told the splittering. Does your ladder splitters? As you can see the ladder, how does it look? Does it have a cracking? Does it have a crack? The deformities, the breaks, the gauges, has it bent? Then you are being told the fraying or other condition. Then you are being told the components fit snugly and operate smoothly. So in this case, you are being told the components of a ladder will work very effectively if you have done something called the inspection and maintenance of that ladder. It will enable you to have a smoothly operation. Then in this case, heat sensors labels for discoloration. You need to always inspect the heat sensors. When it discolor, when it changes to this color, what does it portray? As Jose, being one of the students, you will answer which color does heat sensor change from this color to which color? Kindly do a research on that, Jose. Then in this case, you'll be talking about if deficiency are revealed, remove ladder from service and repair it. So in this case, when you see any deformity, any cracks, any breaks, or any bendings from a ladder, you need to take it out or call it out of service. You don't want to incur injuries to firefighters, because you always say an injured firefighter is someone who is not on service, or is a useless firefighter. To avoid to become a useless person, always do something called inspection of your equipment before using it to avoid injuries occurring to us. Okay, next. Then in maintenance, we are being told you have basic maintenance task. One is cleanliness. Remember, as we have COVID with us, remember we are always to do what? Washing our hands. So when you are caring for your hands, always remember your tools and equipment, they're supposed even to be cared for, to avoid things to do like even infection or transmitting diseases, like for now you're having COVID. So you need to always, cleanliness is one of the key things. Then lubricate the dogs and slide, where the movable parts, where you have the moving parts, you need to always get or oiling them. Then you're being told replace worn halyards and wire ropes. When you see any halyard which is starting to wear out, replace very fast to avoid injuries or bringing or portraying or exposing firefighters or exposing yourself to injuries. Then you are being told clean and lubricate roof hooks, the spring loaded, the spring areas. Then maintain finishing. In those cases, you are being told when you see a defect, go change it, change that ladder. By maintaining that will help you. Or when you see that it has been exposed to a soot type, when you have used it in suppressing or rescuing victim, wash it. When you see any discoloration, clean it, at least to avoid indicating different function. Then replace ladder in storage ranks. So in this case, you are being told always when the storage of your ladder will always matter a lot. When you expose it to moisture, it will start rusty. When you expose a wood type, of a ladder, it will start to break off. So you need to understand how you store it. The storage part, it is very important to a firefighter. So cleanliness and storage, you need to understand how to clean it and how to store it. Next. Then in cleaning, you are being told, clean regularly and after each use with warm, soapy water and soft bristle brush. So in this case, when you are cleaning, use warm water. I know it will be very hard for us firefighters to warm water until, or to boil water until you wait for it to be warm, then you start washing it. I know it is very difficult, but at least use a soap water and soft bristle brush if it is hard for you to find what, warm water. But they prefer using warm water specific in this type of aluminum type of ladder. But in most cases, in a wood type ladder, never use water because of what? To avoid rotting or decaying of the wood. Then you are being told dry ladder before casting, or to avoid being exposed to that water or that to being exposed to the lubricant, to avoid sliding effect or the effect of doing what, the movable part not to be more excessive in move. Okay, next. Then we have servicing testing. In service testing, NFPA 1932 requires periodic testing. Periodic testing is every now and then after when you are the crew on duty as the suppose after doing the inspection, they need to test it to know if it is workable. Then to test new ladders before use and annually thereafter. So in this case, you are being told you can know I'm having this good type of ladder. In this case, you are being told test ladder after and after any repair. After repairing it, test it to know if you can use it in rescue mission or in the service. Then maintain service and testing records. Remember, in EMS, you always documentation. And in documentation is very important because you are being informed that what was not documented was never done. And in documentation will act as a proof to you and will enable you at least to have good record keep the duration of when you bought them or when you bought that type of ladder and when it is ending and when the service, the type, when the type and the date of service is supposed to undergo. They will explain in the manufacturer guidelines. So when you buy that ladder or when you're having that ladder, read the manufacturer's guidelines to help you still in knowing how to care for them. Next. Then you have ladder safety. In ladder safety, you are being told several potential hazards are associated with ladder use. So in this case, use with caution and follow manufacturer recommendation. So in ladder safety, use proper PPEs when you're using ladder. Never try to use ladder without proper PPE because safety is a way of life. So always consider your safety first. Safety comes first. Next, Jose. Then we'll come and check the general safety requirements. You're supposed to use full personal protective equipment. So specifically, we're supposed to be having helmets, hood, you're supposed to have breathing apparatus, gloves, supposed to have the turnout coat, the bunker pants, the boots. When you have the tools and equipment, when you're working with the tools and equipment, you need to have the harnesses with you. This to avoid slipping or being trapped when you are using the ladder or you're working on a ladder. So in that case, you're being told firefighter must be able to work with any ladder on while operator. To avoid inhalation of toxic gases, always remember wearing proper PPE. We have two different types of breathing apparatus. We have a self-contained apparatus. We have the closed circuit and the open circuit in the breathing apparatus. So you need to understand how to use them and to maneuver. Always do practice and training to use them on ladders. Next. Jose. So thank you, team, for that short session. In case of any question, kindly Jose, you text Jose or you can ask from the group and I will answer it. Thank you. Any question?
Before we get into questions, I just want to say thank you for the presentation, and we're very grateful for your training today on ladders, and hope that this served as a great reminder for everyone of the importance of safety, especially. And we do need to maintain our equipment and know our equipment that we're using. So thank you so much. Just a quick reminder for everyone, we will be posting the training online. You can access that from our website, and I've posted the link there. In a moment, I'll be posting evaluation for you to complete. If you'll complete that, that helps us to make our programs better for the future. And next week, we will be starting a 2-week series that will actually be a certificate program for those that attend at least 70% of the course as reported by the Zoom report. So you'll need to make sure that you're logged in as an individual. The person who is logged in will be the one who receives the certificate, and we'll need you to make sure that we get your names correct next week as well for your certificates. This training will be offered by the National Fallen Firefighters Association and will be on the topic of courage to be safe. And we will focus a lot on some of the safety issues that were included today, and are really looking forward to this presentation. So save your bundles, mark your time, find a good Wi-Fi spot for excellent training over the next 2 weeks. The certificate, again, will only be offered if you attend at least 70% of the 4-hour training over the 2-week time period. Training will start at 4 p.m. Kenyan time, which is 3 p.m. in Zambia, and will go for 2 hours. So it'll be a longer presentation next week. Thank you everyone for attending, and we'll open it up now for questions.